Well, it's way too early in the morning to go shoot a video, but Chris wants to go fishing again. Another fishing video, so I guess off we go. So that's what Chris Niccolls wants.
You know, I love fishing in Canmore. It's so much fun. It's so beautiful. And Quarry Lake, did you know that Quarry Lake is actually the only self-sustaining grayling fishery in southern Alberta? They actually harvest eggs from Quarry Lake and they spread them all across. Welcome back, TCS viewers. Chris Niccolls here from the camera store, and today we've come out to beautiful Canmore, Quarry Lake here, to test our three highest-end underwater point and shoots that we like to carry in the store. We're looking at the Panasonic TS5, the Olympus TG-2, and of course the Nikon Coolpix AW110. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of rain, we've got water, and hopefully we've got fish. It should be a very good test today. Now, when it comes to the overall ruggedness of these cameras, which is why you're going to buy these, they're all fairly comparable. I mean, you know, yeah, the Nikon can go 59 feet, the Panasonic's 43 feet, and the Olympus is 50 feet. But really, the fact is, by the time you get to that depth, you have almost no light to work with anyways. All these cameras are good to -10, and they all have about a 2-meter shock resistance drop-proof rating. You know, I don't think you're going to find a clear winner here. The only issue I have is with the Olympus, and that's because it has 2 weather-sealed doors to worry about, as opposed to Panasonic and the Nikon only having 1. Now that means you only have 1 seal to keep clean and keep free of grit and debris, and to me that is a big advantage. Still, overall, I'm very confident all these cameras will take a good beating. Now, when it comes to the overall look of these cameras and the feel, I mean, they all have a nice, ruggedized kind of finish. The Panasonic TS5 continues its traditional boxy kind of look. The aluminum body has a nice feel, though, and it certainly has a quality representation to it. The Olympus TG-2 Tough, I also like. Again, metal body, very, very nice finish. I like that they're not too sporty looking. You know, those metal bodies are going to give you a rugged feel, but I actually do prefer the Nikon Coolpix AW110's plastic body. You know, the plastic, I think it's more likely to bounce if you drop it as opposed to crack or dent, and the plastic does keep the weight down, which is nice when you want a rugged outdoor camera that's always going to be on you. And of course, these are coming in bright blues and oranges, and you can do that with a Nikon, but you can also get camo, new for Canada this year. So overall, very, very nice feeling and handling cameras. Now, I know I've got waterproof pants on, but it's raining pretty heavy out here, so I've got the umbrella, which means Jordan is soaking wet right now. But it's a good opportunity here to talk about lenses now on the cameras. Now, the Nikon AW110, you've got a 5x zoom, nice big range, 28 to 140, 3.3 to 4.8 aperture, so it's a good all-round purpose lens. The Panasonic is the definite loser here. I mean, very sharp lens, but you're getting 4.6 times, and your highest telephoto aperture is 5.9, so you're a little bit dark at the long range. The Olympus definitely wins it. 4x zoom, honestly, I think that's still fine for an underwater rugged camera. It only goes out to 100mm telephoto, but you get 25mm wide angle, and that's going to please a lot of the outdoor GoPro-ish enthusiasts. Plus, you get f2 at the wide aperture at the wide angle, so that's also really, really nice. Sharp lenses, but the Olympus definitely gives you a low light advantage, and that's good because we're going to talk about ISO performance on these cameras. It's not their strong suit. It is coming down pretty good now. No sunlight really to test the screens, but on that topic, the Olympus and the Nikon both have very, very nice high-res screens, over 600,000 dots, but I would say that the Olympus screen is a little bit clearer and a little bit sharper, probably because of the OLED. Now, the Panasonic, the worst of the screens here, 460,000 dots, and you can kind of see that resolution difference, but otherwise it doesn't really shine compared to the other two. Now, when it comes to sensors, the Nikon and the Panasonic are 16 megapixel sensors. They're all 1/2.3 inch chips, but the Olympus does have a 12 megapixel BSI CMOS chip. Now with that and the lower megapixels, I would expect the Olympus to do better in low light. We're going to test that out in just a little bit. The resolution advantage is nice, but I would go for low light performance if it does prove to be better. Now let's talk about video, because of course on a rugged camera like this, you're going to want to do a lot of video. Capture fish, capture river rafting, you know, whatever else you like to do outdoors. The Nikon's got a pretty standard video mode, 1080p, 30 frames per second, you know, no manual control. The Olympus is also the same, 1080p, you know, you don't get a lot of frame rate choices, no manual control, although you get audio levels, but kind of useless on a camera like this. The clear winner, definitely the Panasonic TS5. You're getting AVC HD codec, you're getting 60 frames per second at 1080 if you want to do some slow-mo full res. It's the clear winner, and the video is sharp and beautiful. All right, so now for a not very scientific autofocusing test here, but we're just going to try them, see what they can do roughly. This is the Panasonic TS5 first here. This is just in quick focus, letting the camera decide, and honestly, it's doing a nice quick job. This is way better than the TS4, which was just, I don't know, it was slower than a lot of our camera sales staff. All right, so Olympus TG2 next, and you know, from what I've been seeing today, I mean, look at that. It's almost instantaneous. This thing focuses crazy fast. So very impressive if you're trying to do sports in action. Now, one of the things that we really liked about the original AW100, and the reason why it sold so well, is it had great autofocusing, and the AW110 looks like it carries on that tradition. Nice and quick, look at that. All right, so my final conclusion on the autofocusing on these cameras, which again is so important on an underwater camera like this, an action-based camera, the Nikon and the Olympus, they win, and you know, really it's hard to tell any difference. They are super fast. If you want a point and shoot that's gonna capture the action when you need it to, those are the two choices. The Panasonic, it does lag behind just a hair. All three cameras, very, very quick. And of course, GPS is pretty standard fare on an action-based camera. And, you know, the Panasonic's interesting. It can actually make use of Russian satellites, the GLONASS system. And the Olympus is pretty standard fare too. It's got a GPS. It'll give you latitude, longitude coordinates. But the Nikon still has the edge because the Nikon GPS also gives me a built-in map function. You guys always ask, where do you guys go when you shoot these videos? Well, you can check this photo out. There's Quarry Lake right there on the map. You can see exactly where we are. It's just a nice feature. And you know, maybe if you're lost in the woods like out here in Canmore, this camera might even save your life, let you find your way home. All right, so we're gonna try the macro mode here, and I'm gonna do the Panasonic first. So we've got it in macro mode. Now the Panasonic does have a digital macro, but I'm trying to do this as optically as we can. Not bad, but I find the minimum focusing distance on the Panasonic inferior to both the Nikon and the Olympus. Let's take a look at the Nikon here next. Now the Nikon in macro mode, very, very nice. It gives us an indicator of where our lens is gonna do its best work, and we can definitely get closer than the Panasonic. And again, this is with any sort of digital zoom. The Olympus though, definitely impressive. You know, we've been finding all day, the Olympus camera seems to have the most bells and whistles, and although a lot of that is junk, like magic filters, some of the stuff here, like the Super Macro, is incredible. Definitely the Olympus gets the closest. Okay, so we're gonna do a resolution test here, just shooting these trees here, look in the bark, and just see what kind of detail we get. Now when you look here on the Olympus camera, you can see it's not bad. I do find a little bit of softness there. Let's take a look at the Panasonic. Panasonic again, you know, it's good detail. We are getting the higher resolution, which is an advantage, but softness is still there. You know, these cameras are not known for their image quality. However, looking at the Nikon here, I would give the edge. The Nikon always has just a little bit more sharpness than the underwater cameras. We've found that pretty consistent over the last two series of underwater cameras. So all in all, the Nikon's the winner in overall resolution and sharpness. It's a nice combination. So we've caught some fish today. It's starting to rain again. The boys are getting hungry, so we're gonna head back to the restaurant and do some low light tests. Okay, here's the conclusions we've got from our low light ISO ramp up. Again, we're starting here at 800 folks, going to 1600, and then 3200. And just to make note, the Nikon and the Panasonic basically cap at 3200. You can push the Panasonic further, but only in special modes. The Olympus, though, does give us the option to go to 6400. You know, I would say at low ISOs like 800, I actually find the Olympus to be the nicest looking camera. But when you start going up to 1600 and 3200, I feel the Nikon just holds more detail. I still think it's the best when push comes to shove, but the Olympus is a very, very close second. And again, nice, rich color at 800 ISO. So it's tough to hold 3 cameras all day, but we managed. We had some really good Mexican food as well, and we even caught fish today. So all in all, a fantastic time. Here's my final conclusion on these 3 cameras. So at the end of the day, the Panasonic TS5, this is our 3rd place finisher. And it's not that it's a bad camera, it does everything it says it does. It's just, it didn't have the fastest autofocusing, it didn't have the best image quality. The only thing it has going for it is the best video quality. And honestly, the Olympus and the Nikon take great videos as well. It's not even the best value of the bunch, so this is an also-ran this season. Really, folks, it comes down to looking at the TG2 or the AW110. If you like bells and whistles, the TG2 is the way to go. This thing looks cool, it's got a great menu system, lots of filters. You can even get an adapter to put on telephoto and wide-angle lenses, as well as 40.5mm filters. All in all, a nice touch. But when it came to image quality, I still felt that the Nikon took sharper pictures, and I felt that its low light performance was better. Remember though, you do get an f2 lens here. That's a nice advantage. All in all though, this is going to be more affordable. The image quality is better. Also remember that the AW110, unlike Olympus, gives you the filter adapter for free. It comes in the box so you guys can put on polarizers, and they can be really useful, for example, in shots like this. Also, you know, when you throw in the GPS map function, very fast focusing, you know, a nice light design, and the fact that this is the best price out of all 3, I think the AW110 still holds its own as the king of the underwater cameras for the money. Still, we had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I can convince Jordan to make more fishing videos in the future. We'll see you guys next time.